Hello LAP, this is Brandon Rice here coming to you with your chairman's report. Start off with the order bank. The Corsair is at 6,757. The Escape is at 36,458 for a total of 43,215. We'll lead off with the question of the day, probably the question of the week. Are we working next week? The answer to that is yes. We're being told the vendor's in good shape and we have all intentions of running next week. So plan on being back to work Monday. For this week, everybody needs to call in their unemployment this coming Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, the 11th. If you worked at any point in this past week, that being last Sunday, Monday through Friday, or if you are working tomorrow on Saturday, you do not need to claim unemployment. That will generate short work week. So if you worked at any point, do not make a claim. If you did not work, make sure that you call it in on Sunday. That being said, you can do it on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday as well. But if you're wanting to get your check as soon as possible, Sunday's going to be the time to do that. Want to address the rumors that are flying around. So there's a lot of people talking about we're going down to one shift, we're going to lay off 1,000 people and they're going over to KTP. That is not the case, folks. There are no intentions of laying off a shift. There's no intentions of sending any large group of people over to KTP. It's just not true. Matter of fact, there's a lot of people that are scared out there about our future. As you just heard, our order bank is in really good shape. Matter of fact, if the suppliers can get their stuff together, there's actually some plans for overtime to go back into our schedule starting next month. So it's just not true. I know the rumors are flying. I'm getting a few texts or Facebook messages a day asking me about that. It's not happening. So just wanted to clear that up. For folks that are wanting to retire, the SRI deadline is March 1st. So if you're planning on retiring, you need to make sure that you get back to labor and fill out that paperwork by March 1st. If you filled out the paperwork and you've changed your mind, you think it may not be for you, the deadline is also March 1st. So if you're wanting to pull your paperwork, there's another form that they're going to have you fill out that is going to back you out of it. That has to be done by March 1st as well. As of right now, the company is telling us that anybody that signs up and is eligible to retire is going to have to go on April 1st. So if you're signed up and you've got 30, 31, 32, whatever years in, or if you're signed up and you've got, say that you're 58 years old with 28 years, you're going to have to go April 1st. By the way that it's written up, they have to allow you to grow in. If you are growing into 30 years or 85 points, they have to allow it by November 1st. They have to allow you to grow in. So if your anniversary date, you get 30 years on June 14th, then they've got to allow you to stay till July 1st. If you get your anniversary date on November 12th, they've got to let you grow into and retire on December 1st. Once you hit your grow-in date, you would go the first of the following month. Now, if your anniversary date, let's say, is November 12th, and that's when you get your 30 years, but you get your credits in by let's throw it out as September 1st, and you want to go September 1st, you can do that. The company is not going to force you to go then, though. You can hang around until your anniversary date if that's what you choose to do. Just wanted to clear all of that up. Profit sharing amounts have been announced. The average that they put out is $10,416. I do want to clarify, and most people that have been here for at least a few years know this, that average includes a lot of employees throughout the system that work a lot of overtime, whether it be at an engine plant or transmission plant that just kind of runs around the clock, or it's trades guys that work a lot of weekends and earlys and lates. The average does not work out to be the average person on the line in most of the production facilities. I actually did a little bit of the math because they gave us the formula. It looks like the estimated formula per compensated hour should be about $4.80. Now that's a rounded number, so it could be off, but from what I've seen in the past, it's going to be somewhere between $4.79 and $4.81. It's not very far off at all. What that means is that it would take 2,170 hours to generate the $10,416 payment. That's not something that's going to happen for most of our line workers. So I just want to set realistic expectations for everybody. Now, when they talk about hours, for compensated hours for that, what that includes is all hours worked, all straight time hours worked. Now, it's not capped at 40, but you don't get it for premium hours. So what that means is if you have a 55-hour week, it's good for 55 hours of credit. It's not going to give you credit for the premium hours that you would have on top of that 55. It also counts for vacation. It counts for holiday. It counts for bereavement, jury duty, short-term military duty, and family days. So any of those days will generate hours towards your profit sharing amount. If I were going to ballpark, I would guess that our average base operator in trim or chassis is probably looking at somewhere between $8,000 and $9,000 profit sharing. If they were at work most of the time, you know, 1 or 2 AWOLs throughout the year or whatever. If you had a long medical last year, that's going to reduce it because the medical hours will not count. The only way that you can not be here and it count are basically the things that I just listed. The only way that you were not here for a long time and it didn't count is basically going to be a military duty. That payment is scheduled to be paid on March 14th. That is a Thursday. It usually comes the day before our normal paychecks, so if your paycheck's deposit on Wednesday, I would look for it to go in on that Tuesday, the 12th. If you have a court-ordered garnishment on your payroll, that could delay payment of your profit sharing. Ford has to wait for a form to be sent back from the court acknowledging if you have any back payments that are due or anything like that before they can pay out your bonus. I think that pretty much covers everything on the profit sharing. If there are more questions, we'll try to get some Q&As type stuff out there. Please don't hit your committee person up asking them to find out how many hours you worked last year. We don't have the ability to pull all of that stuff up. And even if they did, each committeeman has over 200 people in their area. It's just not something that would be feasible. If you want to get an idea of what you're going to get, it's a little time consuming, but you can go back and you can go through your check stubs from all of 2023 and add up any hours from the straight time column along with your any bereavement, vacation, personal, and if you add all of that stuff up, it will give you how many hours you've got if you just need to know how much you're getting. I believe that's all that I've got this week. Union meeting is next Tuesday. So meeting will be Tuesday the 13th. It's at the LAP Hall, and that's going to be at 1 and 6 p.m. That's all I've got for you this week. Thanks, and we'll see you again next week.